From being the best student of the school to being the worst student of the school to taking up computers, being the first one in my batch to start a job, to suddenly leaving everything, becoming an artist, painting, to then eventually expecting Agastya and starting Mamaearth. For Mamaearth, I also ended up starting 2 more businesses that did not do really well. So I think from each and every journey, there are certain things that you learn which have actually helped me build Mamaearth today. There was a time when we were working 22 out of 24 hours in a day.
Thanks a lot, Ghazal, for doing this show with us. It's all about people who have wiped out the norm, and you've clearly emerged as one of those women leaders. But I really want to ask you, apart from all the shining accolades that you won recently and the heavy weight of a large company like Mamaearth that now you carry on your shoulders, I really want to understand that besides that, how is Ghazal as a person? How was she in her childhood to begin with?
So thank you for having me. Firstly, I think it's a really good morning for me to be able to talk to a young person like you and share my thoughts, views, journey, and possibly, talk to your viewers and anyone who talks about women and how do they figure it out ends up being my favorite topic as well. So I think I'm a very, very simple person. I have been that since my childhood. I would say I grew up in a family, in a joint family. So a lot of people, we were like 3 brothers, my dad, his younger brother, his elder brother, all married with kids, with dadu, dadi. So I grew up in a large family. What I learned growing up in a large family was the fact that you're never the most important person in the family, right? And that makes a difference.
Correct.
It's always trying to fit in. It's always learning to collaborate, learning to mingle with each other, have fun with each other, give the other people also the importance that they deserve while owning your place as well. So I think that has been a very crucial part of my identity as well. I'm a very, very simple, coming from a middle class family again, there are certain values that you imbibe while growing up, right? The importance of money, most important. Only when the business makes profit is when money comes home. So learn that very, very early on. I think, like I said, middle class family also teaches you the importance of value systems. That has stayed really close to my heart till today. I think how to be compassionate, how to be humble, how to empathize with others when they are not feeling as good. I had a lot of brother sisters as well, so sharing their life through, of course they were the ones living it, but by sharing experiences, etc. So I think this is what has made me who I am, and I'm the same person till now.
But tell me, how were you as a student in school and college?
Oh God, it's a crazy journey. So I was a very, very good student amongst the top 3 students or top 5 students in my class until grade 10th. I was very, very good in sports as well, and I was the artist of my school also. So like an all-rounder. And of course, when you're good in studies, there's like, you should take up science and you should do engineering and you should do this. And I said, okay, we'll take it up. I figured it out till now. I possibly will figure it out in the future. But grade 11, I was like, this is not what I wanted to do, and everything was going on top of my head. I was not able to, so from being the best student in the class to being one of the worst students in the class.
You took up science?
Yes, I did take up science, maths and science in grade 11th and 12th. But very soon realized that this was not my cup of tea. Went to my parents. I said, you know what? I don't want you to invest a lot in my education anymore, because I know wo chanta to padna tha unse otherwise. What are you talking about? So I said I want to take computers. And in grade 11th and 12th also, I had computer as a side subject. So while basic subjects I was scoring anywhere between like 60, 65, in computers I ended up scoring 98.
Okay.
So that was clearly the marks helped me put, like I say, data helped me convince them that I have marks. This is a field that I'm interested in, and they were supportive enough. So after that, I took up computers. So took up computers there. Alongside, took up an additional course with NIIT.
Okay.
Learned, computer applications for
Yeah.
about 4 years. Did really well. Ended up taking my first job as an intern with Infosys in collaboration with NIIT again.
Okay.
So yeah, that has been my curve, but lots of ups and downs, because even after I took up my first job, my second job, which I thought, and I got married by then, I thought I would, pick up a senior role again in engineering itself, but I ended up pursuing my passion for painting.
Tell me one thing, that what made you shift from doing computers to getting into the world of paintings? What was the triggering point?
So, I was, of course, working with NIIT and Infosys, like I said, for about 4 years. And that's when Varun and I decided to get married. And, arranged marriage, getting to know the family, changing cities, etc. seemed a lot for me personally at that point of time. You also need time to adjust with the family, because people there are new to you. So I had taken a break of about 3 months, and I thought that I will join back again. The Delhi branch is something that was open for me, so I'll possibly go back there. But within those 3 months, Varun had to move to Philippines for his job. And at that time, I could have taken a decision to stay back or move with him. But I was like, this is also an important time for us to build our relationships. I wanted to move with him to Philippines. During that time of setting up the house for the first time and all of that, I pulled out some time, and because I was alone and he was, new job requires you to put in extra hours, right? I just picked up my brushes one day and started painting. And one of the nights, Varun came home from work, he saw me painting, he had his dinner, he slept, he woke up in the morning, I was still painting.
Okay.
So that's when as he tells me, that's when he thought that this is a zone where this girl just gets lost. She doesn't feel hungry and she's so involved in it. For me, it was more like a hobby, and I loved painting. I could never take it up because you're a good student, so you're supposed to take science and maths, right? I never got a chance to take up art professionally or learn from the best. But he took a note of that. In the morning, we had like 3 or 4 paintings ready. He just clicked pictures without telling me, sent it to a few universities in New York. Only when he got a positive answer from there, that they were willing to have me over as a student and also on a scholarship basis, etc., is when all of that happened. So I ended up going to New York. So that was something that showed me a green spark, and I was like, I love it. I can do this for like hours and hours together. I came back. It took me a little while to set up my studio, etc. But once I did, I just listed my works on a few online art galleries, and it ended up selling. And people were actually willing to pay 80,000, 90,000, a lakh for a work. And that surprised me as well. I was like, okay, we have something here. And like after that, I had so many shows. I was doing well. Media picked up a few of my shows as well. So I honestly thought that I'm sorted for the rest of my life now. I've married my passion to my living. I'm making money out of it. I'm enjoying the process. There cannot be anything better that can come. And but yeah, of course, after that, when Agastya came to our lives, that was a surprise. And we
that's how
Mamaearth started. And a personal problem, we wanted the best for our child. We were not able to find anything in India, and we just delved into it. And of course, then art took a backseat.
But tell me, how has the quality of being a painter helped you imbibe certain values that you helped Mamaearth with when you were painting that canvas of your business?
So I think painting requires you to have a very strong attention to detail as a metric, I would say, right?
Yeah.
For an artist, when we are painting, to be able to decide that this is the moment when I leave my brush and I decide that, okay, this painting is done,
Yeah.
especially when it's abstract, is really tough.
Yeah.
You're not able to give up until you feel it's perfect. And it might or might not come to the vision that you had when you started the painting out. So I think that attention to detail, that creativeness around colors, how to place objects where, and how to get the whole picture in a frame is something that really helped me. For that matter, our core baby range is 6 products that we launched Mamaearth with back in December 2016. The labels that those bottles have were the labels that Varun and I had created sitting at home.
Okay.
Right? We came up with those vectors, we came up with the layout, etc. And they're still there today. That's exactly what we are selling today. So I think some bit of my creativeness from being an artist helped me figure that out. And I also take care of new product development. So anything new that comes out, not just from Mamaearth, but from Honasa as a company, is something that I work on very closely. So how would the texture be? How would this whole package of product plus packaging plus label plus colors come together? How should a new brand look like, etc. is something which I believe I've been able to do because of what I learned when I was painting.
Yeah.
I am painting.
But tell me, how did you end up meeting Varun? I really want to know about that story. You said that it was an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
But I would want to know that why did you want to marry a man like him at that point?
Okay, I think the time when I met Varun, I was not very seriously thinking about marriage.
What age were you? My age.
24, 25.
Yeah.
Slightly older. But I mean, see, when you have parents, they are interacting. So Varun's Bua lives very close to my house back in Chandigarh.
Okay.
My mama, they're neighbors, right? So and they had a very good equation with each other. So she shared Varun with Mama, and they said that we should meet. Of course, Varun and I had seen each other because he used to visit Bua's house. And but yeah, I think they started talking, and we of course knew at our houses that something was going on. We connected on Facebook. We started having conversations. Our parents didn't know about it. They kept doing it the traditional way of parents meeting and then Bua's meeting and then they coming over and but Varun and I had connected. We were already talking. We were able to know a little bit of each other. And I think the first meeting that was arranged by our parents is when I started seriously thinking about marriage and Varun. He was the first guy that I'd met.
Okay.
I hadn't met anybody before. Neither was the plan.
Yeah.
But meeting him, I mean, our conversation was so much about what do we want to do together. He was so inclined towards understanding what is it that I want to do in future. What are my wishes, and when I expressed my intent to study a little more, to learn a little more, he was so open to that idea, and it just made me feel, it's not like marriage is a roadblock to what I really want to do. It actually could be an accelerator to what I want to do.
What are some of the business traits that you get from him? Because he's been into the FMCG space for much longer. He was working at Coca-Cola also earlier. So when you started together, what were some of the traits that you acquired from him?
I think I still continue to learn a lot from him. When we were just starting out, I mean, he was my dictionary. I have never been into this industry, right? Or how do you put a P&L together? How do you understand some of the terms in business itself, right? Raising fund and TAM, what is TAM? Total addressable market. I was like, why can't we say total addressable? It just makes the entire process so easier. And there's some, these abbreviations that you use, and they just make the entire business. So he used to be my dictionary. I've learned so much from him. I think even from a traits perspective, how do you think and how do you put a structure to your thoughts is something that I learned from him. And I mean, there are n number of things. I don't know what to like mention and what not to mention, but how do you evolve as the company grows, right? Because adaptability is the key. And the pace at which you're able to grow the business, ensuring that you're personally also able to grow and keep yourself relevant for that scale of business was also something that he actually helped a lot, getting me onto that journey as well, reading the right kind of books, talking to right kind of people, even in terms of team and how to structure and how to think about them and how to delegate, etc. Because early on when you're founders, you want to do everything yourself. You believe everything needs to be done, because if you don't do it, it's not getting done the way you want to do it. So letting go of was also an art that, you need to be okay with it. You need to give people time to pick stuff up, and that's okay, because till the time you don't do it, you will not be able to take up the next challenge. So I think a lot, but yes, these are some of the things.
You mentioned that you read some of the books that helped you gain the right knowledge also on building businesses. So can you mention a few of them?
So I've read a few books which have helped me, but I think one of the books that I really liked was Hard Thing About Hard Things and how to operate in times when they get tougher, and also about different times in the stage of the business, and how does it require you to behave differently and quickly adapt and move on, and how to adapt changes, etc. is something that I learned from that book. Other than that, I think one of my other favorite books is Atomic Habits, because what I realized was that I want to do so much. I want to be physically fit. I want to take care of my diet. I want to build a business successfully and not take away any time from that. I want to ensure that I'm giving time to my kids and I'm raising them well. I wanted to ensure that my family also gets it. And then there's so many other things that keep piling on, and you want to do them on a daily basis, which you realize you can't, right? So Atomic Habits gives you very real-time advice, right? So for example, one of my favorite learnings from that book is habit stacking. So you might be doing something today which comes very naturally to you, right? So for example, waking up in the morning and going to the loo. Now, can you stack a habit in between this? Because this comes naturally, but possibly drinking a glass of water before you start your day is important. It helps you, right? So waking up, drinking a glass of water, and then possibly using the washroom or not using the phone, etc. It just guides you on how to do that and gives you very, very simple tricks that can be implemented on a daily basis, and like it doesn't require more than 5 to 6 seconds of yours to just get that into place. I think that's what I learned.
But you spoke of difficult challenges and the book that you read, which helped you also sail through. Of course, you learn it on the go also. But what were some of the challenges in these 6 years that you encountered, both on the business and the personal side, and you've learned a lot from it?
See, there were a lot of challenges. I think early on when we started in the business, this developing products was something that was really close to my heart, and I was personally 100% involved into each and every process, right? That required us to meet a lot of manufacturers, a lot of suppliers who would give us those plastic bottles that we wanted to use, etc. And that industry in itself was a male-dominated industry back then, right? They were not used to women entering factories or talking business or talking numbers. And at a lot of times, they would just ask, is there anybody else from your team that we could talk to? Because they were not comfortable talking to a woman. So I think early on that was a big challenge for me, how of course I overcame that. Now we have a very healthy relationship. I still continue to do what I was doing back then, and doing it more efficiently by building the right kind of relationships with them. They're also now our largest partners, but it did require a little bit of mindset change, and maneuvering through that back then was challenging, because it required me to go out of my comfort zone to be able to go back to that same place, talk to the same people again, being asked those same questions again, and then saying, you know what, I'm here, so we will have that conversation. I think other than that, again, very early on, getting these partners on board, because while you might have a vision, for them, you are absolutely new in the journey and the process, right? They would have certain brands who are already giving them business. for them to be able to pull out their bandwidth, and you're not generating any business for them, but still give you time and energy to figure things out, was again challenging. I mean, people did not take us seriously. We used to go for meetings, travel cities to meet people, and when we used to land there, they would have gone somewhere else because this meeting was not important enough for them. And I would leave my kids behind and plan the entire day around him, you know, ask for help, get family with them to support me so that I can travel and meet those people, and those people would not turn up. I mean, so that was also a challenge. But I think now things are getting better, especially on this front. People have seen how startups have grown and scaled in the past. Now they have some respect for people who are at least trying. That's a big change that I see. I see people also more open to hearing new ideas and you know, visions, and sharing you know, their perspective with the people who are trying to start up. So that's positive. A lot of women are now doing business and doing it successfully. They've set examples for a lot more women who are going to come and enter into this industry. So that's a positive. I think other than that, I think challenges are innumerable. You know, where do you start? How do you scale? I mean, we still remember when we started Mamaearth out, for us it was a baby brand, a baby care brand. And we always thought that Mamaearth is going to be a baby care brand only. But a turning point happened when we were listening to consumers, and they said that why just baby? Even parents deserve natural, toxin-free goodness for their skin. We hold the baby so close to our body that they put our arms into their mouth, they lick us on our face. So why don't you make these, you know, products full of goodness with natural ingredients and certified safe for us as well? And that was a turning point for our business. That helped us move from a small baby care category to be able to operate in the entire beauty and personal care category with Mamaearth. From just 6 products, we now have almost 300 products in our portfolio. So I think that was also a challenge, and that at that time taking that decision that we're not just going to be a baby care brand but operate in the entire category was a difficult one. While our consumers were telling that to us, how do you think about it? How do you expand the brand? How will the entire category look like? How do you convince your investors that this is the next step for us, which we feel is the right step for us, etc. So that those kind of challenges did come up.
Have you faced any unconscious gender bias also? Because when you're married and you're doing a business as a couple, people might not ask your husband that how will you manage the business, but to a woman they might. And I'm very thankful that it's changing now, but it still exists in some parts. So I want to know your journey. Were you also asked some questions early on like that?
A lot of such questions. Even at home, my own parents, you know, when it comes to prioritizing work between Varun and I, Varun always gets a little more ethos. His work is more important. You should take care of the kids. Unconscious. Unconscious. While they know both of us are in it together, it took them some time to understand this and give both of these equal importance, right? Other than that, I think very early on, like I talked about, I mean, in my business itself, people were not willing to talk to me. They wanted that if we are talking finances, we need a male from the company to come and talk to us, or Varun from the company to come and talk to us. Investors used to have that, right? So when we were pitching, there were a lot of people who asked us that, what if you guys separate? It's like, invest nahi karna, that's okay. I mean, divorce to mat kara. We're very happy in our lives together, right? But like stuff like that. And even very lately, when I was expecting my second child, Ayan, and some of these people come to office and they're like, business is going strong, you've achieved so much, now you're pregnant the second time, I'm sure you would want to take a break, you would want to take things slow. And that just fueled me. That was the trigger why I ended up growing my business and also taking up Shark Tank while being pregnant. And I did so much more because I wanted to prove them wrong. I said, I will decide. Till the time I am deciding for myself, it's fine. I might decide I want to take it slow.
Yeah.
That's okay. How are you
Yeah.
calling me out for something? You don't even know me.
Right.
Why would you think that I'm pregnant? And that then becomes a norm. That just becomes like, okay, generally it happens like that. That's not the case. I think we as women are challenging so many things today. And I'm so glad that it's getting better. I was able to do that. I'm so glad he asked me that question.
With that note, we come to the end, and I really thank you for your time, Ghazal. Really enjoyed speaking to you and hearing about your story, which is not so much heard of. You know, everyone knows about how Mamaearth came along, and there's too much out in the news to read about that. But I wanted to read you as a person, and I think I had a great time doing that.
Hey, thank you so much. I had a lovely time chatting with you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.